Just going to get started while we're waiting for the Nicochers to come. We'll get our regular housekeeping out of the way. So if we could start by rising and saying the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to welcome everybody to the Staten Island Borough Board and wish you all a happy and healthy new year. Okay, so attendance, we have everybody here except Councilmember Borelli's office. If everybody could just take a look in your package. I know Brooke sent it out because we did have a little bit of a lengthy meeting last month. If I can just have an acceptance of the minutes, please. Okay, Jerry first, Nick second. Okay, we do have a presentation and a resolution. Nicotra should be here shortly, but we're gonna just.
He's coming in, I just want to know.
Okay. So we'll just continue on though, until they come in. So correspondence, we did not have any. Does anybody have any old business to bring up for now? Okay, any new business to bring up? Okay, all right, so we will just wait until, do you want us, we can wait a minute for them to come in. Oh, actually, and I do want to mention, we do have, next month's meeting, we have Link NYC coming. They're going to update us on the city's Wi-Fi kiosk program. So that will be our presentation next month, and I think, and actually in March, it is the budget consultation, so that is the morning meeting and the evening meeting, just to remind everybody. And then we will have the groups coming to make presentations for budget ask.
I guess just tell you an overview of the project. I guess to talk a little bit about the corporate park of Staten Island, which we have now also called it the medical mile, because we have 25 medical operations there now, and we hope to expand. We started developing there a while ago, and if people remember what it looked like before we got there, I mean, I always tell the story that my father taught me how to drive on South Avenue, one of the two-lane dirt street. And it was a dumping ground for everyone. When we took over, we literally took out thousands of tires, a lot of kitchen sink and burnt out the cars. And then we started a not-for-profit called the Bloomfield Conservancy, and we've tried to adopt the area. And we have, I think, done a great job in terms of what we do on South Avenue. And we do it all with ourselves. We have not received funding, and nor have we asked for any funding. That may change in the future, but we just recently planted.
Not what you want to hear when you speak in
We recently planted 40,000 bulbs in the last couple of weeks. So springtime, when you come down South Avenue, it is going to be amazing. But we continue to plant and clean. We pick up about 8 bags of garbage a day on South Avenue, can you imagine, still today. And we have an arts program, and we just installed 7 beautiful pieces of sculpture from an artist in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. And this is another artist that we are talking to. We'd love to continue making South Avenue the Park Avenue of Staten Island. And these pieces of art were on Park Avenue in Staten Island, and we're in touch with the artists and see if there's something that we could do together. So we've been developing there for over 20 years. We've kind of adopted it and trying to make it clean and beautiful and safe. The City of New York did an RFP several years ago for a piece of property. I think this may be easier to see. Next to the 2 buildings that we own in the teleport. So South Avenue, Corporate Commons 1 and 2. This was occupied by AT&T. AT&T, when we opened up the Hilton Hotel, 2 things happened. 4 days before the World Trade Center came down and nobody was traveling. Beautiful time up at the hotel. And the 3,000 people that worked in these buildings moved to Jersey. And then this was vacant for 10 years. So there was not a car in the parking lot for 10 years.
As illustrated by this picture. I just noticed.
And,
Totally up to date.
is it? You know what, I
You know,
noticed
I
that.
just noticed it,
Yeah.
we looked at it so many times, but this was provided by the Port Authority.
Yeah, so we bought those buildings, we rehabbed those buildings. I'm happy to say we are 100% leased, and I'm happy to say that we expanded the parking twice. So
It's a nice feeling.
What's nice when you get in the elevator and you go up and you look at the parking lot and you see all the cars. And again, it wasn't only, it didn't only hurt our hotels or restaurants, it hurt the whole community. Because to take 3,000 people out of a community, I'm going to New Jersey, no one bought a bagel from the bagel guy in the corner, no one went to the pizza shop, no one bought a car, no one bought a house. There was, such a loss of any kind of business in that area. So the city had put an RFP up for a piece of property next to it. It is between my two buildings and the football field. So if you're on South Avenue, you'll pass the buildings, there's a 9-acre site, 8.5-acre site, and then there's the ball fields. So we have proposed to erect a office building, but not just any office building. I guess we can put this up here. Again, South Avenue, the two buildings that we own, and this is the building. 240,000 square feet, 6 stories, 40,000 square feet of floor, an entrance right off of South Avenue, an area that would combine the 3 buildings to be a beautiful meeting area. As it is now, when you go to my buildings, it's so nice to see the kids from either St. Paul School of Nursing or Lavelle, like just, sitting on the grass and reading.
It's really like a campus.
And we intend to put another restaurant in. As you know, in Corporal Commons 1 and 2, we built a restaurant called the Commons Cafe. And the Commons Cafe has done a couple of things. It's provided 25 jobs for people. It has provided food service for the tenants there, where one of the complaints was I can't get a cup of coffee, well now you can get more than a cup of coffee. And thirdly, and most importantly, we have donated 100% of the profits of that operation, and so far we've given over $550,000.
And that's just to local charities on Staten Island, local non-for-profits.
And that was just in 5 years, so it's approximately $100,000 a year generated in nonprofit groups.
And we do everything from bullying programs, and we've given $100,000 just to public schools in that time, but all kinds of things that we do. And we plan to develop another operation that'll be almost 3 times the size. So we think we will be able to double or triple our giving.
Because it'll follow the same format, 100% of the profits.
It's called social enterprise, and it's unique for what they're doing on Staten Island. There are other places that give to charity, but not 100%.
Yeah, I mean, and I joke about this when you say, well, we give a portion of, but or a piece of, or we'll give something up. No, this is 100%, and we don't charge rent, we don't charge electric, we don't charge management fee, we don't charge fees to do the accounting and whatnot. 100% of what we do goes. And it really comes from, and we joke about this, still the Paul Newman philosophy.
He looks like Paul
Quite a
Newman.
little Paul Newman. I
No,
always say this,
that's only
if I had blue eyes, I would just like Paul Newman. But he started that with the Hole in the Wall gang, what he did. There's a couple of books on it. And they have actually contacted us, and they invited Christine to a couple of seminars, and they actually teach companies all over the world. That's one of their missions, is how do you be a social enterprise? How do you take a company and do good with the profits as opposed to just keeping the profits for yourself? So we're happy about that part of the company and of the project, so we'll be able to do more here on Staten Island. This is a rendering of the building. Obviously, it would change a little bit. But the other most important fact of this is that we are going to put a 40,000 square foot rooftop organic farm on this roof. And we will grow things like arugula and tomatoes, and basil,
And a fig tree.
Don't forget figs.
and a fig tree.
Per recommendation we got in
Yeah.
the last presentation.
You know, we got two, then we have another one. So are you gonna do a fig tree? And the design that we're working with right now is from South Avenue to be able to see, you know, a very modern building, and out of the top of it is this beautiful farm. And if you look at the Hearst Castle building in Manhattan, you see what they did when they tried to incorporate a look of the Hearst Castle in California, in San Simeon, I think it is, and the modernness of an office building. So that is the idea. And what we grow here, we will sell our organic food in that restaurant. So the people that kind of work in the area can stop by and pick tomatoes that were grown and picked today, as opposed to maybe picked 2 weeks ago in California, and they were picked green, and they were gassed in a truck going across the country. And the other thing we're going to do is build a vineyard. And yes, you can grow grapes on roofs, and you can grow them on Staten Island. And the reaction to the vineyard has been phenomenal from people from Italy and from Napa, who have called us and want to work with us on that project. And we'll also have a beekeeping operation. And we plan to, you know, work this farm, and we have a good relationship with the Lavelle School. That's a tenant of ours. And we've just built them a big, beautiful planting area where the kids will be able to plant vegetables and flowers, and that we just did that last week. And we hope that they'll be able to, you know, get involved in what's happening up here and learn about growing fruits and vegetables. This is the walkway, which goes from South Avenue on, and that is another area where we will do vineyards and plantings. If anybody saw Channel 2, I think it was Monday morning. Was it Monday morning? They talked about really, it's an area in Tuscany where, you know, this little restaurant is called Pienza, which is my favorite town in Tuscany. And there's a vineyard there that they are, have 30 speakers in the vineyard, and they play Mozart, or classical music. And as crazy as it is, the grapes that are closer to the speakers are growing bigger and better.
And insecticide.
Yeah. Well, there's a professor from, I think, the school in Milan, who knows about plants and flowers and whatnot. And I mean, they're saying that there were some plants that react in a different way than some animals, believe it or not. There were some plants that are moved in such a way and so they don't, the bottom result is they don't think it's Mozart, they think it's music, and they think it's the waves and the sound waves and whatnot. But it does keep the birds away, and it does keep the insects away, bugs away, so whatever. So we're gonna,
You said James Taylor, right?
well, James Taylor, I said maybe James Taylor was supposed to Mozart, maybe the grapes would grow even bigger. And in the restaurant, we're also going to build a indoor bocce court. So that this restaurant is called Pienza, which is a town, pizza, pasta, and porchetta. And it will have an area to take out, an area to sit down and eat, an area to buy these organic fruits and vegetables, and an area that you can do bocce, and I think we'll do some tournaments, and again, all the profits will go to charity. And I think charities, you know, would love to be able to participate, you know, in that kind of activity. So that is, that we have two pictures of the same area. One, you know, with the Pienza area. Yeah. Yeah, and there's the other one. Same scene, you know, one with an area that would be selling, maybe do a farmer's market once a month. Not only our fruits and vegetables, but invite other people. Because really, we don't have anything on the West Shore of Staten Island that does the farmer's market. We have this is that area that I talked about between the three buildings. That's the outdoor space for Pienza. And this is a kiosk that we bought 10 years ago, if not more, maybe 15 years ago. We bought it in Florence, Italy, and we brought it over. It's been in a warehouse ever since. And this was, and we were going to put this on the corner of Glen Street and Lois Lane. That was where we wanted to put it. And we were going to, you know, do a little food and give the money to charity. But that didn't work out with just dealing with the agencies that we had to deal with and trying to get anything approved. After 10 years, we kind of gave up and left it. But now we have another opportunity for it, and it's our own property. So we're going to reconstruct this. And if you've ever been to Italy, I mean, you'll see these things all over the place.
Maybe there's newsstands or different kind of things.
And fountains, and just a gathering place. We are, you know, preserving over 2 acres of land that we're not touching. We are moving 200 trees. Moving 200 trees.
And the Boy Scouts are gonna keep us honest.
Yeah, and we're gonna reforest this area along South Avenue with these trees.
It's like what we did at 1200.
Yep.
Well,
And we had interest from a local Boy Scout troop who wants to come and see how this is done, because it's so different for a developer to actually pick trees up and move them. So they're going to witness it, because years ago, was it the Arbor Day Foundation?
The Arbor Day
Well,
Award.
1200 South Avenue was the only building in New York City that ever won the Arbor Day Award, which is a building with trees. So if you've ever been to 1200, we, instead of clear cutting like most developers do, we actually picked the steel up over the trees and built behind the trees. And the parking is a little irregular because we did the curbing differently to save a tree here and save 2 trees here and what. And what we've got, I think, is a better building, you know, where people, if you look outside, you wouldn't see a tree.
And even one tenant told us that there was a little nest with birds in it and little eggs, so it was that close to the window.
So that is going to be fun to be able to, you know, we don't have to do it. It's not a law. We didn't say we were going to do it. It's not an arrow approval, so you'll have it done. But there were some great trees here that we can pick up and move, you know, to different parts of the property. So again, we don't do, we do one project at a time. We just finished 1130 South Avenue, if anybody has ever passed it. It won the award for the best designed building on Staten Island. We're proud of what we're doing there. We're proud of the tenancy that we have there also in terms of doing good on Staten Island. And as always, we always put a lot of art and flowers and sculpture in our properties. And in that particular case, 2 pieces were done by Makerspace. And we hired them, and then we hired another landscape architect to do the big love sculpture, which has become an area where people are just meeting and taking pictures. And, you know, besides the brides, which you would think, but we've had families there now with 4
A lot of
kids.
Christmas cards as well.
Yeah. So that's kind of neat to see that people just meeting there and
And
just
it's
sitting
open
there.
to anybody.
Yes,
It's not
yeah,
only for
yeah.
Hilton brides. And one day I pulled over because I saw a beautiful bride there, and I got out of the car, and she said, "You can make me leave?" I said, "No, I want to take a picture of you. You look so pretty." She said, "Oh, I thought I was going to have to leave." It's all for the community's use.
And the other day, we had a dog, you know,
The first dog man who's dressed up as a Santa Claus.
with his Santa hat on and whatnot. So, I have to give credit to Bob Englet, who had the idea of, gee, why don't you put a sidewalk? And my wife kind of pushed me to to do it, very expensive, but we have a sidewalk from South Avenue all the way down to our buildings, we call it the garden path with signs, and we have planted those. Again, the real star of that building is gonna be the landscaping. And springtime, when you see the flowers and trees and bulbs that we have planted there, it's gonna be spectacular and amazing. So again, I keep saying that we do individual buildings, we do boutique kind of small little things as we go around that, doing a mega project. But we can make a difference, and there's a need for this. We wanted to make sure, because there were other, this is what's needed here. We don't need another shopping center on Staten Island, or really on South Avenue. And, we think to try to have one street that is at least as corporate as we can make it, without any flashing neon signs, and have an area where there's plenty of parking, and where the business community on Staten Island has another alternative, besides obviously here in downtown Staten Island.
And it's part of the jobs post that
Yeah.
President,
Well, yeah, and it's exciting. I was up above today, touring some people, and to look at what's happening at the old NASCAR site, where they're building those warehouses and whatnot, and it's
moving along.
and they're really moving. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nice to
Yeah.
see and what's going on, and so you kind of, we're very happy and excited about all the wonderful things that are happening on this end of Staten Island, but there is another end of Staten Island, and wonderful things are happening there too. So we hope to be part of it. And that's it.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? Any non-members of the board have any questions?
Christine?
I just have a quick question. All of the area outside of building number 3, that's the vineyard?
No.
Oh, it'll be on top of the roof.
Yeah.
Oh, so the vineyard's on,
Yeah.
so the farm with the tomatoes and the arugula is on the roof with the
It's
vineyard?
on the roof and this area. This is we're preserving and leaving intact.
And what is along South Avenue there?
This is a gully right now.
No, the other side, all along there.
This. Okay.
plantings.
Yeah, plantings.
This
It's,
is parking here.
Oh, that's what I meant. I didn't know that was
This
parking.
is all
Okay, that's what I was
parking, yeah.
asking.
Mhm. With greenery, because we don't just do.
Okay, no, that's why I was confused. What,
and we also actually sat in this room with the fire department not too long ago and had to redo,
And we got it.
and we, they
Got
wanted,
that 30 feet.
30 feet all around and entrances, exits, and we got them what they wanted, and they're happy about
The
that. too.
parking doesn't look like a parking lot because, actually the Mayor's Office of Sustainability recognized an encroachers for the parking lot they did closest to 1110 South Avenue, the building next to the Hilton, because there's green islands which help in water retention, so it's less water you have to bring in, because when it rains, the islands hold the water, and the landscape architect recommended that, so that's why it looks more picturesque than a normal
And
Well,
you
white
have a
parking lot.
Yeah, if you come to 11:30 and you look at the parking, it's done with Belgian block, it's done on an angle, and you'll notice that every parking spot has 3 blocks missing out of it, and a swale is made in each parking area, so that when it rains, it does 2 things, the street doesn't get flooded, and it waters all the plants and flowers out of there, so.
It's really so smart, right?
Okay,
It's a great work.
Well, we're excited about doing it. I don't know, John, I'm getting a little low.
Join the club.
This is, but.
I think Joe was around when we did our first building.
Yeah.
Before you.
And we continue to take care of South Avenue. We're working to upgrade it and clean it, and, those trees have been there for 20 years now, and so it's time to change that. All right?
okay, so we will vote on our motion. I'm gonna read the resolution into the minutes. Just bear with me, because it's a little lengthy. Whereas the City of New York is the owner of certain real property located within the Borough of Staten Island, Community District 2, identified as Teleport Site A, Block 2165, Lot 20, on the New York City Department of Finance tax map for the Borough of Staten Island. Whereas the New York City Department of Citywide Administrative Services, known as DCAS, the applicant in this case, and the New York City Economic Development Corp., New York City EDC, the co-applicant, proposed 2 land use actions to facilitate development of an undeveloped 8.5 acre city-owned site, once again, Block 2165, Lot 120, within the Teleport Office Park in the Bloomfield neighborhood of the Borough of Staten Island, Community District 2, in the City of New York, including disposition of non-residential city-owned property pursuant to New York City Charter Section 384B4, including any and all easements and other conveyances necessary for the site's development. Block 2165, lots 140, 160, 170, 190, and 200, and certification from the Chair of the City Planning Commission of cross-access connection pursuant to zoning resolution, Section 36-592. Whereas, once disposition is approved, DCAS intends to dispose of the property to the New York City Land Development Corporation, who will then dispose of the property to New York City EDC. It is anticipated that New York City EDC will then dispose of the property to Corporate Commons 3 LLC. The New York City Land Development Corporation is a local development corporation organized pursuant to Section 1411 of the New York State Non-for-Profit Corporation Law, having an office at 110 William Street, New York, New York, 10038. Whereas, pursuant to its amended and restated contract dated June 30th, 2012, as amended from time to time, the city has retained New York City Economic Development Corporation to perform certain economic development services. And New York City EDC, acting on behalf of the city, will enter into an agreement with Corporate Commons 3 LLC, a developer. Whereas Corporate Commons 3 LLC, or an affiliate, has expressed interest to purchase the property and develop it to include a 240,000 gross square foot building with approximately 173,000 GSF of commercial office space, 2,000 square foot bank, 5,000 square foot restaurant, and 60,000 square foot of medical office uses with therapy pools. The proposed project would include 873 parking lots, including both at-grade parking and within a parking garage. The proposed development is permitted as of right in the existing M11 zoning district. Whereas the proposed action also includes a request for certification from the Chair of the City Planning Commission for cross-access connections pursuant to the zoning resolution, Section 36-592, to certify that the provision of cross-access connections have been met. The proposed cross-action connection at the southern boundary of the site at its connections with Teleport Drive would be approximately 32 feet wide and would accommodate two-way traffic into the property. The proposed cross-access connection at the northern boundary of the site at its connection with Lot 140 would be approximately 22 feet wide and would accommodate two-way traffic between project site and the existing structures known as Corporate Commons 1 and 2 to the north. Whereas EDC has notified Community Board 2 regarding the proposed conveyance of the property, and said Community Board has recommended approval of the conveyance. Now, therefore, it be resolved that pursuant to New York City Uniform Land Use Review proceedings and procedure and Section 384B4 of the New York City Charter, the Borough Board of the Borough of Staten Island hereby approves the disposition of the aforementioned real property, Block 2165, Lot 120, and all interest therein, and supports ULURP application numbers 17156 PPR and N170157 ZCR, representing required land use actions necessary to facilitate the development of the undeveloped 8.5 acre city-owned site within the Teleport Office Park in the Bloomfield neighborhood of the Borough of Staten Island, Community District 2 in the City of New York.
Wow.
You'll build it faster than.
No, we can,
That's a mouthful.
okay, so, can I entertain a motion to approve the resolution? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Everyone in favor? No abstentions? No opposition? Resolution passes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time and your help getting the building.
I talked to some commissioners about it.
Okay, so since we took care of all our housekeeping beforehand, all I need is a motion to adjourn. Can I entertain one? Nick first. Can I have a second, Jerry? Thank you.